journey in the Lone Wolf series of Choose Your Own Adventure novels. We are in Book 5, Shadow on the Sand, and we are ready to continue on from our last session where we were rescued by an airship and given the knowledge that there is a point of contact that can help us to find the Book of the Magnamund, which is going to be the capstone for this series of books. This is the last book in this particular series of novels. Aside from there's more books after this, but I'm not sure that they relate exactly to the story that we've been in. But anyways, we're ready to continue on with our story, and we're going to go ahead and turn the page and see what happens next.
The fatigue of your ordeal finally catches up with you. You are finding it impossible to keep your eyes open. Nalrim shows you to a bunk in the hull of the Skyrider. Gratefully you climb into bed and pull the blankets over your aching limbs. Nalrim apologizes that the bunk is too short, but his words fall on deaf ears. You are already asleep. Restore 2 endurance points for this much-needed rest.
And we're back at full health. Let's continue on.
You wake shortly after dawn to the sound of snoring dwarves and the low hum of the Skyrider. Gathering your equipment, you climb on deck to find everything in shadow, for the Skyrider is hovering beneath a massive outcrop of sandstone that juts out from the side of a mountain, thousands of feet above the valley floor below. Baindon stands at the helm, but he is no longer in a trance. Kron riders, he says, pointing to the sun-bleached valley beyond the shadows. They arrived with the dawn. You stare out across this alien landscape, a mountain valley filled with pillars of massive and precariously balanced boulders. The Vasagonians call this place the Coos, the Needles. The rocky columns reach so high into the sky that an avalanche seems unavoidable. Perched upon 2 of the columns are Kron, their Dracarim riders scouring the valley with telescopes. An hour passes before they take to the air and disappear. Trim the boomsail, Bosun Nalrim, orders Baindon, his voice barely audible above the increasing hum of the Skyrider. We've a fast run ahead.
Alright, well, we don't have the Black Crystal Cube, so that's not an option for us, which means we're forced to take this one.
The voyage through the Coos is breathtaking. The Skyrider glides between the towers of rock that rise from the valley floor with fantastic and unearthly grandeur. Far below, sulphurous water bubbles from fissures in the orange ground and streams of hissing lava carve circular channels, which glow like motes of liquid fire. You watch the sky, but there are no signs of the enemy.
I'm just going to take a second here. As somebody who gets bugged about the pronunciation of words, it kind of boggles my mind a little bit that they mispronounced that. It's sulphurous. That's how you pronounce that. Sulphurous. There's no I in there. Sulphurous. It should know better. Just say it.
Enemy. Ikaresh, says Baindon pensively. The Eagle's Lair. That is where we will find Tip-Asa the Wanderer. It is the place of his birth and the home of his family. He roams the dry main, but he always returns to Ikaresh. It is late afternoon when you reach the hills beyond the Coos that overlook the town of Ikaresh.
While we're thinking about, or while he's talking about locations and stuff, let's get the map up. Where's my map? Map is Photos app. Sorry about that. I want to open this as a separate app because it messes with my browser layout when I open it in the browser. So we can open it in the map here. The dry main over in this area. I'm not sure exactly where we are, but we're somewhere in here. So now we know.
Ikaresh. Baindon moors the Skyrider to a pinnacle of stone, and a rope ladder is lowered to the ground.
So it's easier to see.
It has been decided that you and he will enter Ikaresh on foot and locate Tip-Asa, while Nalrim and the crew wait in hiding for you to return. The sight of the Skyrider hovering above the mountain town would be sure to arouse unwanted interest in your arrival. You and Baindon prepare yourselves for your mission by staining your skins with brown kopala berries and dressing in the gray and white robes commonly worn by the mountain people of this region. You bid farewell to Nalrim and set off across the barren hills.
All right, so we have a random number that we need to generate, which means it's the 10-sided die's turn. All right, so we need to roll relatively high so that we have a good number. I'm imagining, oh, you know what? This might be we need anyways, I'm wasting time, sorry. 3.
You trudge through the loose red sand, your faces covered to protect them from the dust and the blazing heat. The landscape is stark and desolate. All that seems to thrive here is the wire-hard grass that scratches your boots and leggings. You soon come across a dried river bed that leads to a cave in the orange sandstone hillside. A wooden plaque is nailed by the mouth of the cave, but you are unable to understand the strange words painted on its sun-blistered surface.
Well, why would we open ourselves up to the possibility of fighting something? As I've said in previous episodes, there is no real benefit to fighting other than just fighting, and there's no experience points or anything like that. So we're just gonna move on.
You follow a path along a dry gully, the bed of an ancient river that once flowed through the mountains. An arid breeze blows eddies of red dust along the banks of dead earth. The white-walled buildings of Ikaresh suddenly appear, and, as the dust settles, you find yourself standing in a small square close to the open archway of the town's east gate. Perched upon a tall basalt monolith in the center of the square is an eagle, the emblem of this mountain town, cast in bronze. 3 bronze arrows are held in its beak, each indicating an exit from the square.
Okay. I guess main square. Hopefully we can ask some questions.
You soon enter a public square where a throng of men have gathered at the ruins of a fountain. They are listening to the frenzied speech of a man dressed in red from head to toe. Each man in the crowd is wearing a strip of the same colored cloth, which covers the lower half of his face. "They're Aduka, the veiled ones," says Bane Dawn nervously. It sounds as if they're declaring a blood feud on their old enemies, the men of Tefa. You follow Bane Dawn to the shelter of a toa tree, where you will be less conspicuous. The speaker is denouncing the Tepharim for imposing a heavy tax for safe passage through their town and for use of the highway to Karakala. His ranting begins to stir the crowd to fever pitch. Suddenly he points to where you stand and shrieks, "Tepharim spies."
Well, no, we're not. It didn't say that Bane Dawn ran away, did it? We'll follow Bane Dawn's example and run for our lives. It didn't say that. It didn't say he ran, but I guess that's supposed to let us know that he ran.
It takes over an hour to shake off the Aduka, by which time you have been chased through most of Ikaresh. Had it not been for Banedan's timely casting of a spell of illusion, they would be after you still. You cannot help but laugh when you picture their faces, when they saw the caucus leaping at them. Thank the gods they did not think to question how a cult ice beast came to be roaming the streets of their town. When you have fully recovered from the chase, you leave the narrow alley in which you have been hiding, and press on in search of Tipasa the Wanderer. You pass under an arch where 2 brass-gilded, conical towers gleam like gold and enter a marketplace crowded with squabbling merchants. Exotic carpets, brightly colored material, and all manner of foods are being bought, sold, and haggled over. The north side of the marketplace is devoted to the auction of dug gas. The sleek but noisy desert beasts are being paraded, for the benefit of the bidders, around a paddock adjoining their stables. Just past the stables, a street vanishes into the carpet weaver's quarter of Ikaresh.
Alright, sorry about that. I finally located where we are. My eyes just aren't what they used to be, and I'm not able to pick out things, and I've never really been good at finding detailed things like this. But we're right here. This is Tefa, or whatever it was that they were called, and this is the town that they were complaining about. But anyways, this is where we are right now. I've been trying to find it on the map, and it's just, I thought we were down here. Okay, well, we're trying to find this Tipasa guy, so let's ask the merchants and see if they can help us out.
A small, heavy-set merchant is hawking his wares from a stall set close to the archway. His small, beady eyes twinkle from beneath a ridiculously outsized turban. As you approach, he launches himself at you, desperately trying, with a flood of wild claims, to persuade you to buy his obviously inferior goods. He looks surprised when you interrupt him with your question. Tip Asa, he answers. Yes, I know where he lives. He holds up a gaudy waistcoat of pink and orange sackcloth and offers it to you. It would make a worthy gift for your esteemed friend, he suggests, his eyes continually glancing at your belt pouch. Only 5 gold crowns, master. You realize you will first have to purchase this ridiculous garment before the merchant will tell you where Tip Asa lives.
You see, the issue I have, we have plenty of gold. I have no problem paying 5 gold if we're going to get the information quickly. It's just, I'm going to be really mad if I pay 5 gold and he's like, oh, he's over here, and then he's not. Now, we have the 5 gold to spare. Let's just go ahead and do it.
The merchant's face beams with joy as he pockets your gold. Deduct this from your action chart. The first alley on the left past the stables, he says. He lives in the house with the blue door. You hurry across the crowded marketplace towards the stables and enter the street beyond. As you turn into the rubbish-strewn alley, you see the blue door facing you at the end of the passage.
I have a feeling this is a trap, because it said he was continuously eyeing our gold pouch.
There is no reply to your first knock. You are about to knock again when the door opens a few inches and the red-rimmed eyes of an old woman stare out from the darkness. Bane Dawn, she exclaims, her voice hoarse and shaky. Thank the gods it is you. She ushers you both inside and locks the door. The house is sparsely furnished, and what little is there is either damaged or broken. They have taken him, Bane Dawn. They have taken my husband, the men with the faces of the dead. 10 days ago. They came like shadows in the night. She breaks down, her frail body racked by sobs. Bane Dawn comforts her as best he can, but you sense he shares her bitter loss. The Drakrim have taken Tip Asa, of that there is little doubt. By now they will have made him tell everything he knows about the tomb of the Majhan. We will find him, I promise, says Bane Dawn, wiping the tears from the old woman's face, but you must try to help us if you can. Tip Asa always kept a diary of his travels, do you have it still? A flicker of hope shines in the old woman's eyes. Yes, it is here. He told me to hide it when the evil men came for him. She kneels at an empty fireplace and prizes a loose brick from the chimney. A leather-bound book drops from its hiding place into her hand. She gives it to Bane Dawn, who studies the yellowed pages, his face lined in thought. You notice that the book is full of cryptic symbols, numbers, and pictograms. They are drawn by the night stars, says Bane Dawn, tracing his finger along the astronomical drawings. They hold the secret, I know, but without my star charts we cannot hope to find the tomb. We must return to the Skyrider at first light. There I shall be able to make some sense of this book.
Okay. A lot of reading.
You have little sleep that night as you lie thinking about the quest that lies before you, haunted by the fear that the Dark Lords may already have found the book of the Magna Kai. You rise before dawn and breakfast on a meal of sheep's butter and dried milk cake, before bidding farewell to Tip Asa's wife. The trek back to the Skyrider passes uneventfully, and by noon you have reached the rocky crag where the craft is moored. Nalrim is the first to greet you, but he cannot hide his disappointment that you have returned unaccompanied. Do not worry, the answer lies here, says Bane Dawn, holding up Tip Asa's diary. Prepare to set sail. As the Skyrider rises into the clear blue sky, Bane Dawn hands over the helm to Nalrim and bids you follow him to his quarters at the prow. For 3 hours he pores over his charts, making calculations, checking instrument readings, and racking his brain for the solution that will pinpoint the tomb of the Majhan. It's no use, he says, tired and exasperated. I cannot fathom these numbers. As you peer at the pages of Typeace's diary, suddenly you realize that they are written in code. What Baindon had assumed to be positions of stars is a code to 3 numbers that give the precise location of the tomb. Consult the map to help you discover the location of the tomb of the Majhan. The first of the 3 numbers is equal to the number of oases on the trail between Ikaresh and Bur Rabbalou. The second number is...
Alright, we don't need to read the rest of that. Alright, so the first of the 3 numbers is equal to the number of oases on the trail between Ikaresh and Bir Babaloo. That's 1, 2, 3. I'm guessing that these are oases, so that's 3. The second number is equal to the number of cities in Vasagonia. Okay. It's 3. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But how do I know what's a city and what's not? Flags? Is the flags what makes it a city? 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. So 360. The third number is equal to the number of islands off the coast of Cape Kabar. Where's Cape Kabar? Sorry that you're having to say, the number of islands off of Cape Kabar. So 1, 2, 3. So 363. And let's make sure I got it right before we go running off to things. Number of oases on the trail between Ikaresh and Bir Babaloo. So it's 1, 2, 3. Second number is the number of cities in Vasagonia, which I believe there's more than 9, so that can't work. So it's got to be the flags that indicate it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So 360, and the number of islands off the coast of the Cape here, which is 3. So 363. I hope that's correct. Yeah, that's clearly not correct. Because we've been to this page before. That doesn't help me. Okay. Did I miss an oasis or something? Well, no, it goes up to 400, but it's got to be 3. And then this is Cape Kabar here. That's 3. So I'm clearly wrong about the cities. So how do I know what's considered a city and what's not? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't see any more. And I don't see the plains, hills, mountain, rock spires, salt lake, desert, oasis. What's considered a city? What makes it a city? I don't know what makes it a city. I would think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Am I missing one? I don't see any other flags anywhere. And I guess I could just do all of the 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or is it just that Barakish is the only city here? That doesn't make sense. Let's try 313, I guess. Nope, that's not correct. That's not correct either. No. Nope. No. 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 373. Okay. What's the 7th one? Again, maybe this is my bad eyes, but I don't see another city. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where's the 7th one? Okay, well, yeah, we had to cheese it, but I don't know. They should have marked what a city is considered, because I don't know. But anyways, we have it now. Let's move on.
That's it, exclaims Bane Dawn, stabbing his finger at a map of the dry main that covers his chart table. 115 miles due west of Bur Rabbalou, 115 miles due south of the oasis of Balofton. He picks up a quill pen and marks the spot. The tomb of the Majhan, 7. You study the map and ponder the miles of desolation separating you from your goal. Bane Dawn notices your look of dismay and quickly tries to put your mind at ease. Fear not, Lone Wolf, we'll be there before the dawn. You smile at his confidence, but it is not the actual journey that worries you. Your concern is what you may or may not find upon your arrival.
Oh, okay. We could just move on, but I kind of want to find this on the map. So here's Bir Babalu, and it said it was 115 miles due west, and then it said it was 115 miles due south of the oasis at Balofton. But where's Balofton written here, do you? I mean, I'm guessing this is the chart here. This is about 115 miles due west, and there is an oasis here. So even though it's not labeled, I'm guessing it's right around in here. So let's continue on.
Dawn is breaking on the horizon of a low hill, blurred and dotted with small tufted trees. Swiftly the Skyrider has voyaged through the night to arrive at the foothills of the Kaneshi Mountains, in whose folds the skyship is safely tucked away from watchful eyes. 25 miles to the north, across a landscape of barren rock and dry brush, lies the tomb of the Majhan. You and Bane Dawn set off before the dawn, anxious not to waste either time or the protective cover of darkness. Now, as the great golden disk of the sun rises in the sky, for the first time you can see your goal. A massive excavation has exposed the heart of this scorched land, delving deep around the tombs of its forgotten ancestors. Thousands of Jayaks, spiteful and malicious servants of the Dark Lords, labor unceasingly to remove rock and sand from this quarry, forced by Dracarim to drag their backbreaking loads up ramps to the rim of the crater. Close to the edge of the crater, an encampment of black tents surrounds a large domed canopy. Lying in the shade of this construction is a huge flying creature, an Imperial's land beast. Its presence here can only mean one thing: Dark Lord Hawken has arrived. The thought chills your blood, but you draw comfort from the labor of his slaves. That they continue to labor is a sign that their mission has yet to be completed. The book of the Magna Kai has yet to be found. It is impossible to approach the crater unseen. You will have to wait for darkness before you attempt to enter the tomb. During the long wait, it is agreed that Bane Dawn should attempt to find Tip Asa. It is likely that he is being held captive inside the encampment. The Dark Lords would be unlikely to kill him before discovering the treasure they seek.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and end the episode here, because we're already 23 minutes in, and this is just a good stopping point before we do hopefully what is the final push to the end of this book, which is going to be going in and finding the Book of the Magna Kai. So we're going to go ahead and remove that meal. Yep, we'll remove the meal. And that will be it for us today. So be sure to come back tomorrow, where we're hopefully going to have the exciting conclusion for not only book 5, but for the initial 5 books of the series. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys are having a great time. I will see you next time.